So we find ourselves here with Little Storm on Route 58 in Virginia, and she has a story about this beading.
So this is a wall hanging quilt, and I am a quilt artist, and I do story quilts, and my quilts have a story that goes with them or symbolism that's associated with the quilt. This particular one is called Lord Hear My Prayer. And this one was done when I was really struggling with a lot of problems personally. And I woke up one morning, I'd had a dream where I was just reaching out to the Creator in prayer, and I felt like the Creator wanted me to make that quilt. So I pulled out fabric and I began just laying things out. I didn't draw it out, I didn't plan it in advance, I just made it. And a lot of the quilts that I make are that way. They're either related to a story that I had heard in the past, or maybe something that speaks to me spiritually, and then I take what the Creator has given me and I put that into my quilt.
So the story here is?
So the story here was reaching out to the Creator in prayer and going back to the traditional ways and going back to our culture and getting out of the city and the rat race and all of those things that are the modern trappings and coming back to nature and the creation.
You're absolutely right. I look in that picture and I don't see the Empire State Building anywhere.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Here's another piece of artwork from Little Storm.
This one is called The Land, and this one talks about our traditional Nottoway lands. If you look, you see that there is a canoe there, and that represents the rivers, and we are people of the water. And we had 3 rivers in our area, and you'll see that there are 3 beaded lines, and those represent our 3 rivers, the Nottoway, the Meherrin, and the Blackwater. Then you see that lovely branch, which I have done in leather and beads. The branch represents the cypress trees. The cypress trees are in all of our rivers here, and they are very tall and strong, and they grow right in the middle of the water. So even though the waters are raging sometimes in the middle of the storm, those trees stand tall and strong amongst the storm. So have our people. We're still here, and we have been strong throughout many years, many hundreds of years of dealing with civilization, or so-called civilization, from the Europeans, and we are still here. Also, if you look at the quilt, we have a circle and square. When the Europeans came here, they forced us off of the traditional lands and said, you have to live in this circle and square. So this is now your territory. You can't move off of it. You're supposed to do all of your hunting and fishing in this area. And oh, by the way, you have to buy everything from us, so you have to sell us more of your land so that you can continue to live in our European way. That was their strategy for taking our land away. So that represents our land that we had to fight for over the years and still struggle to try and hold on to individually rather than as a reservation. And then you'll see that there are hourglass symbols on the outer edges. Those hourglasses are ancient symbols, and they were found on pottery in the river here. And the hourglass represents the upper and the lower worlds, remembering that there is a heaven and there is also the lower world, that we are here today and then there's always later, and to remember the ancestors that came before us and the children who will come after us. Those are the symbols on my quilt.
Wow. And that is representative. The Nottoway controlled a huge land mass and got right down to 2 little reservations, a circle and a square. Wow. Thank you very much.
No.
Now, as I tell you, we're on the edge of Route 58, so you'll hear it in the background, but you'll have to learn to live with it. So here are some of the other things that she does as a release of all the energy she has from the storm. So this is called?
This is called raised beading. It's traditional Iroquoian style of beading, where you put a layer of bead down underneath and then you bead over top of it to get your design. And the design here is a Virginia pea plant. And there's actually a story that goes along with this. We were discussing different flowers in the area that were purple that we wanted to include in regalia. And my cousin and I were driving past our old home place, and our farms were right across the street from each other. And we went to the graves of his ancestors, and there was this gorgeous Virginia pea plant growing on the grave. So that was how I got the idea to include the Virginia pea.
It almost gave you cold chills.
And it was right after we had prayed about it, because we said we'll go to the Creator and ask Him what we should use. Wow. And then these are some earrings that I designed, and they have 3 colors in the braided part in the middle to represent the 3 rivers in our traditional lands. Then this is from a workshop that we did. This is a little bag for collecting berries. And Mary Ann Robbins of the Onondaga Nation came down and did a workshop with our people and taught us how to do twining. And so this is one of the pieces that I made after she taught us the workshop.
Wow.
And then this is just a little quilted pillow cushion, because I do a lot of the quilting, so that's where I keep all my pens for my crafts.
Sweet. Well, again, thank you very much, Little Storm.
Thank you.
You were wonderful.